Today's a big day. Nintendo revealed their next console at long last. And I don't know about you. I don't know if it feels huge. That Switch debut trailer from 2016, that's still memorable. They spent 3.5 minutes introducing the very concept of a hybrid console with flawless precision. Today's Switch 2 debut didn't have to work that hard. In 2.5 minutes, it basically says, yeah, you get it. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing necessarily. I think it might be the right message for this particular product. So here they are, my 5 hot takeaways for the Switch 2 reveal. Number 1, so mature. It's really funny to compare this console reveal against the console hardware reveals of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Because yeah, all of these are going to have extreme close-ups on particular details of the hardware. But I think the biggest difference in tone is just the musical choices. And I guess I'd also say that the Switch 2 close-ups are mostly there to serve a function, to let you know what is new and different about the Switch 2, not necessarily which curves are the sexiest, though the dock has some nice curves. I like this shot in particular. The previous shell just crumbling off gives me the feeling like this is a Digivolution sequence. This is not an alternate product. This is Kabuterimon becoming Mega Kabuterimon. Appreciate this. And I guess I really just like the fact that there's nothing particularly unnecessary about the presentation. It is not as memorable, no, as a rooftop Joy-Con party or the most imaginary Splatoon tournament of all time, but it's honest. It's respecting you as a viewer, which is what I've always been trying to do with my brilliant audience. Hot takeaway number 2, looks like a starter console. The black color scheme with the blue and orange highlights, it's nice. It's nice. I'm not saying it's not nice, but I would like to share something with you from Nintendo's most recent financial report. They said consumers now purchase Nintendo Switch for many reasons. Not only do we see first-time users, but we also see consumers purchase additional hardware to add to their collection or replace their hardware with newer ones. They're saying that the Switch, unlike their previous consoles, or at least more so than their previous consoles, is relatively inexpensive enough that people are just buying them just to have more. And that Nintendo is so keenly aware of our weakness and is communicating that to their investors implies to me that maybe I can look at this console a different way. Now it just kind of looks like a vacant chalkboard. Hot takeaway number 3, bad 2. I've come to terms with this product being named Switch 2. As basic as it is, I think it's the right business decision. The Switch is potentially going to become Nintendo's best-selling piece of hardware of all time. Not yet. No one could possibly misunderstand what the Switch 2 is. It is the successor. What I don't care for is this logo. Boop. And it's the 2 in particular. It makes me feel nothing. It's a highly standard 2. It's a gray house in a neighborhood full of gray houses. Now, I want to communicate something very clearly to you. I don't like Shrek references. Shrek doesn't make me laugh. I don't think it's funny just to talk about Shrek. With that understood, please understand I bring this up with absolute sincerity. Look at this 2. That's an iconic 2. Unmistakably, that is Shrek 2's 2. Look at Sonic 2, iconic 2. PlayStation 2 has an iconic 2. In fact, you could just roughly draw a wide, no curves 2, and you have made a PlayStation 2 too. Everybody knows what you just did. Now back to this. Bleh. Nintendo can never own this 2. You can't sketch this in your notebook. I don't know, maybe it is early. Maybe in 7 years, we'll look back at that 2 and say, yeah, that's iconically, that's the Nintendo Switch 2. I'd recognize that anywhere. Love that 2. But, probably not. Hot takeaway number 4, Nintendo's going turbo. Nintendo Switch 2 is launching with what will become its best-selling game. That's actually crazy. And I know you're probably thinking, well, no, it's not actually that crazy. But please Let me just at this moment explain why I'm right about this. So typically a console's best-selling game comes out several years into its lifespan. You don't want to peak early. It's bad for business. And if you're willing to not count Wii Sports for me right now, that has been the tradition with modern Nintendo consoles. Look at all those Mario Karts. And then, yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best-selling Switch game by a fair margin, sitting up there at 64.27 million units sold. And I know you're probably thinking, big whoop, that's like 2 Call of Duties. But I would like for you to remember once more, it's a Wii U game, primarily. At its very core, it's a Wii U game. It's a re-release of a Wii U game. And obviously, I don't have any grasp of the development costs of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I don't think it's out of line to say that this has been the easiest big W of Nintendo's entire life. Nobody could have predicted that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a Wii U port, would become as successful as it has. I'm bringing into question whether that was an intentional decision to launch with their best game. Here in 2025, you can't question it. It is deliberate. They know what they're doing. And here you have it. A brand new Mario Kart game. Not a deluxe version of a deluxe game. A brand new game. Presumably launching with the console. Presumably with 24 carts on the track somehow. Presumably with some dumb new gimmick to make this giant road make sense. But it's a deliberate decision. Nintendo is choosing to launch with their most surefire hit. Break in case of emergency, they're starting with that. Because they want money now. And finally, hot takeaway number 5. There is a little something weird for the freaks. Switch 2, it's a conventional console. It's a bigger, nicer Switch. What could be said? But as clearly illustrated here, both Joy-Cons will function as mice. Computer mice. And I won't even pretend that this is conjecture. I don't have patience for that. We all see it. They're mice. I do feel like a part of the April presentation is going to be like, and there was probably something you missed that we hid in our initial reveal. And it's like, no, we got that. We got it. They're mice. Now, I do imagine that the mouse function will become as essential as HD Rumble for the Switch or augmented reality for the 3DS, which is to say not very probably. After all, mice require a nice flat surface in front of you. And here, I'm just making predictions here. There might be people who have like a nasty hand-me-down fake leather ottoman in front of their TVs. Such a person could never use a mouse on that surface. But personally, I appreciate that they're trying something weird. There is something weird in there. There's a traditional Nintendo intent to delight. You know what I'm saying? And all the true freaks know that the real freaky shenanigans begin with this freaky, mysteriously unlabeled freak button. Overall, though, I think it was a nice, concise presentation for what seems to be a straightforward product. I like seeing backwards compatibility plainly explained and demonstrated. I like the size comparisons. Interesting audio design choices. Ultimately, I give the Switch 2 reveal a B+. Kind of miss those Impractical Basketball guys. And that's it for today. Now, Delayed Input will actually be back next week. And at that point, we'll have a brand new disingenuous Xbox Developer Direct to be talking about. Until then, thanks for watching.
Simple minds. I guess we'll take it one by one, baby, one by one.
There is one more thing I should probably acknowledge. There's some online controversy about Donkey Kong's new look in this new Mario Kart game. Some even say it's a little too close to the movie version of Donkey Kong. I frankly don't get it. Look at movie Donkey Kong, okay? And then back to new Mario Kart Donkey Kong. What are you even talking about? Here's Mario Kart 8 Donkey Kong. You missed this? Here's a real life Donkey Kong standing next to some guy who's watching his lifelong dreams come true. And once again, new Mario Kart Donkey Kong. It's absurd to me to even have to acknowledge this in a video, but what you see before you is Mario and Luigi looking basically the same as the Mario Kart 8 counterparts, but for some reason, Donkey Kong would be the only guy who has to shift his likeness closer to what appears in the movie. Again, doesn't even look like the movie Donkey Kong. Here's what I ask, and I don't ask for much. When a Donkey Kong game is announced for Switch 2, don't let your jaws drop. Keep them off your nasty ottomans. Don't be surprised. It's coming. It is, and I must say this again, Donkey Kong's time. So to prove my mettle, let's lock in this bet. There will be a new 3D Donkey Kong game within the first year of the Switch 2's launch. And by 3D, I mean you will rotate the camera with the right analog stick. If I'm correct about this, I will, guilt-free, you can't say anything about this, I'm going to go to Target and buy that Lego Donkey Kong I saw but couldn't justify the purchase. And if I am wrong about this, somehow, for 1 year on this YouTube channel, I will end every video with Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong doing the Seth Rogen laugh. But that will obviously never happen. Easy money, baby. Easy bananas, I guess.